I knew there was no one's fault but mine. I know that there was no one's responsibility but mine. I knew that I was the one. I had to look in the mirror and know that I'm the person responsible for so much bad behavior, and this is dark. I blindsided everyone in my life because I had never been honest. I was not going to tell a soul because I was scared, I was prideful, I was full of ego, and I was so addicted to the pain pills that chase became more important than anything else I thought about. You talk about broken in a million pieces. My life had just shattered. I've had a great life. I've had the opportunity to work with FCA for 22 years. I was blessed in every way to become the chaplain at OU about 11 years ago. And family's been healthy, and we've just had amazing things happen in our life. 6 years ago, things began to change in my life. I started taking shortcuts. Quiet times and prayer life became inconvenient. My lies led me to the home of Gary Higginbotham and his wife Tammy. I basically tricked Gary out of his house so I could look in his cabinets for pills. And I knew in the moment that they looked in my eyes and confronted me for what I had just done, everything in my life was about to change. I had to face the hurt that I saw in her eyes and the anger that I saw in his eyes. And that night I went to jail. That night everything in my life changed. I was handcuffed in his home and I was arrested and I was taken to the county jail. And I'd gone from the OU Texas sideline to a jail, to a medical detox, and then to a rehab. I ended up at Rob's Ranch, and I remember our counselor just asking us two questions. One was, do you believe that God can forgive you? Two was, what do you need to dump at that cross? Man, I had so much shame. I had let so many people down. That day was the beginning of something new. I started giving shame back to Him. I asked God to forgive me. I got a call from Gary Higginbotham, and it was out of the blue and it was unexpected, and it was probably the last person I expected to even reach out to me. And he offered to add himself to my legal counsel. I was facing charges that were monumental, they're big, and he wanted to be a part of that. And I said, how does that even look? I mean, you're a defense attorney representing me for something that happened in your own home. He stood beside me when my legal charges were finalized. He called me and he said, would you spend a day with me? And we went to a county jail and we helped someone else walk through the decisions and the painful points of addiction. Some of the same things that I faced, we helped someone else face. That day, crazy enough, Gary did his job. He's an attorney. I did my job. I went back to the roots of being a minister. And after that was over, Gary looked at me and he said, would you consider doing this with me? Would you consider partnering with me in a ministry to help people that are stuck just like you were? And at that point, we began to walk as partners, as friends. And now we serve in a foundation called WIN, and it stands for What's Important Now. Gary Higginbotham, the guy that I hurt the most publicly, he and I now work together to help others. And as difficult and as painful as this year's been, our family's okay. And it's a credit to our faith. It's not a credit to us being good people or being good enough or being strong enough. It's different because we know now where the power source is, more than ever. We know where our strength comes from, now more than ever. My son told me the day I transitioned out of the ranch that he always loved me for being perfect. He told me that day he loved me now because I wasn't. Man, those moments are real. But they trusted again because of what God can do, not because of what their dad can do. With God's help, it is possible. It is possible to start over even in addiction. You know, we were shattered in a million pieces, and I know that God wanted to pick those up and make something beautiful out of that.